Hello, good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
sir.
Hope everyone safe and fine. So
Yes,
today
sir.
we are going to start a new course. So I would like to introduce myself. So I'm D. Santosh Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering at MVGRC. So today we are going to start a course on non-destructive testing. So before going to in depth of this particular subject, in introduction session, today we will discuss about what is the structure outline of the structure, course structure, and what is the learning objectives, learning outcomes, as well as also before going to the non-destructive testing. So we will there is a small touch about what exactly the destructive tests and what the limitations of the destructive tests. Then we will go to the non-destructive testings. And also, there is a very interesting thing in this particular course, that is the career opportunities in NDT, especially on NDTs. If you do some particular courses on NDT, you will get a lot of opportunities, employable opportunities. So those things also we will cover in this particular session. So without delay any time, so then we will move on to the course structure about the non-destructive test. So I would like to share the screen. So is it visible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So first we will move on to what is the outline of this particular course. So whenever we were talking about this non-destructive testing, it plays a very extreme role in majorly in quality control, flaw detection, as well as structural health monitoring, covering in a different range of industries. So majorly these kind of things, fraud detections, quality control, and structural health monitoring. This is the very important, the structural health monitoring in service, majorly in service. We are definitely have to monitoring what about the structural health and all the things. And we have there is a lot of variety of NDT techniques are available, so that we will discuss later. So more than 10 available variety of techniques are available. So but as per our syllabus, we will cover some of the NDT techniques which are majorly used in various industries. And also, in this particular course, majorly our focus is that first we are trying to understand its fundamental science behind each and every method. So then only you can easily build the basic understanding of the underlying principles. So you know that whatever the technology comes, that technology comes from these science only. So that's why we are always trying to understand the what exactly the science. So we have different kind of methods. For each and every method comes from particular science and what is the underlying principles. So that's where first we are trying to understand all fundamental science. So then only we will try to cover the entire process details of each and every method. So why? Because once you clearly understand the principles, then you can easily understand the procedure and each and everything. So that's why our majorly focusing on its fundamental science. So for each and every test, there is a fundamental science. So then the course objectives. So major course objectives is that the students majorly exposed about that all concepts of various techniques like radiography, ultrasonic, penetrant tests or magnetic particles or eddy current, acoustic emission and thermography. These are all different kind of NDT methods are available. So then the students should be exposed about these concepts. And also very important, we learn all the basic principles of these methods. We'll be able to select different testing procedures, because if you clearly understand the principle about each and every method, then only you can understand that where exactly I have to use this kind of method. because there is a variety of methods are available, NDT methods, but we have different kind of requirements. According to the requirement, you have to select your NDT method. Why? Because in some NDT methods only detect surface defects. Some NDT methods there is identified even internal flaws also. So if your requirement is only identifying surface defects, then you have to select that particular method. So that's why definitely we have to focus on major principles. And another objective or learning objective is that should know about what is the limitations and what is the applications and advantages. Because if you know the limitations of each and every method, so then only you can go for another innovation. If there is no limitation, then we are not going for another kind of method. So I will tell you one particular limitation in one non-destructive method, that is the magnetic particle test. So if you talk about this magnetic particle test, so you can use this kind of method is only for which materials have magnetic properties. So otherwise, if you would like to identify the flaw, like any kind of defects in plastic materials, then you can't use the magnetic particle test because the plastic materials won't have any kind of magnetic property. So like that. So some kind of limitations will be there for each and every method. So that's why it depends upon their properties and characteristics. You have to select a different kind of method. So that's why definitely each and every student should understand what the advantage of unique advantages of each and individual methods, limitations of the methods, as well as the applications. Where exactly, for example, in casting, sometimes you are getting internal defects and sometimes you are getting surface defects. So for surface defects, what kind of test is suitable, and for internal defects, what kind of test is suitable. So like that, you have to understand. So that is the objectives. So then we are moving to outcomes of this course. So in this, majorly after completion of this entire around 48 lectures of the course, so the student definitely like able to know about the importance of different non-destructive techniques as well as the underlying principles, and also different non-destructive principles used in different kind of industries, and also understand the need of non-destructive testing, because we have already some conventional techniques, otherwise you called it is a destructive techniques are available. So then why the people are move on to non-destructive testing? So that's you can clearly understand after completion of this 48 lecture course. So, and also the students are able to find the various defects, because you know that in weldings there is a different kind of defects will be there, even castings, even formings also, forming like in case of forging and all the things, you are getting different kind of defects will be there. You can easily identify it and what kind of defect is it, and what is the location of the defect, and what is the size of the defect, and then each and everything you can easily find out once you clearly understand the principles behind the each and every method. So that is the major outcomes of this particular course. So see the course details, what exactly we will cover in this particular course. It divided into 6 units or 6 chapters. So majorly in chapter 1 we covered about some overviews of different kind of principles, as well as one of the method is that visual inspection method of in non-destructive testing. In the next chapter, we will cover about another kind of testing method, that is a liquid penetration test. And third unit, we are focusing about magnetic particle test. So you know that if you talk about the magnetic particle test, then definitely we are talking about like what is the Faraday's law and what is the inductance. So all these are all basic principles to clearly understand the magnetic particle testing procedures. So for that reason only we are talking about all principles. And also in chapter 4 we are talking about radiography testing. So in the radiography testing, majorly we required X-rays as well as the gamma rays. Then definitely we're trying to understand how the X-rays will be generated, what is their frequencies, and how the gamma rays will be generated, So, and how you are getting a different kind of films and how to analyze the image once you complete this radiographic testing. So those things we will cover in your chapter 4. In chapter 5, we're talking about ultrasonic test. This is the one very important and versatile technique. So for that, what is the major principle we are using? That piezoelectric effect is one important thing in this ultrasonic testing. So that's we will discuss. And last one is that acoustic emission as well as the thermograph. So everyone know about this kind of thermography testing. So in this particular pandemic situations where exactly you are going to like any like malls and all the things or any kind of thing, then they are simply testing you what exactly your temperature without touching our body. So with the help of thermogun. So that is the one kind of equipment to measure our temperature without damaging or without touching our body. So that is the thermographic test. So I think everyone is experienced about this, one of the non-destructive testing in the pandemic situations. So then this is all about your course detail. And now, so I think you clearly know about ultrasonics, all around 6 or 7 different kind of non-destructive testings we will talk about.
క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి 3 minutes అవుతుంది.
So please don't disturb me, please.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్ కి క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అవడానికి చాలా తేడా ఉంది. అయినా క్లాస్ లేట్ అవడం గురించి నువ్వు చెప్తున్నావు ఏంటి? వరస్ట్ గురించి నువ్వు చెప్తుంటే.
Please mute yourself. So, and I would like to recommend some textbooks and reference books for understanding all these non-destructive techniques. So I would like to recommend some books. If possible, you try to purchase. Otherwise, you may search in internet. Otherwise, you may search in your libraries. Definitely, some of the books will available. So the first book is that Dr. Vijay Kumar, Non-Destructive Testing of Materials, Lakshmi Publications. So this is the one of the good book. Each and every student can easily understand what exactly language they are using in the textbook. And also another one is that Louis Koch. This publisher is the ASM International. So this is also one good book. And another one is that Non-Destructive Evolution and Quality Control. This is again the ASM publisher. So ASM Handbook, Volume 17. I think this particular book is available on our libraries. So you can go for that because it is very costly book. So that's why your please depends upon the library. So this is all about your reference books and course outline as well as the learning objectives and outcomes of this particular course. So then we will move on to before going to the non-destructive evolutions, definitely we have to talk about destructive tests. So I think I hope everyone in your second year there is one laboratory called material testing laboratory. So in that particular laboratory, you have done a lot of experiments like tensile properties, tensile test, compression. So all these, if you see all kind of methods like tension, compression, shear, torsion, bending, and all the things, what is the common point here in that you are applying different kind of or different loads on the material. You are trying to understand the specimens of performance, otherwise you called about it is material behavior by applying different kind of fluids. And you know what is the end of the thing after completion of the experiment? Your material gets damaged. So means what you are clearly understand by that. So to get its performance or material performance, you have to apply different loads and finally you are destroy the component. So then only you are you can evaluate all kind of properties. If you say about tension, you are getting all yield strengths or ultimate strengths, Young's modulus, and all kind of properties you can evaluate by destroy the material by applying the tensile loads. Even that compression also, shear, torsion, whatever you see the experiments or in what is common point is that you have to failure the specimen. So we are going for some more details about these destructive test for recall. That one is the tensile. So in case of tensile test, you can see that there is a specimen. Clearly you can see the specimen. So here it is a tensile specimen. There is upper jaw as well as lower jaw. So in between you have to place your test specimen. Then you have to apply your tensile load. So then you can record it what is the strain inside the material. So with the help of that strain as well as these loads, then you can simply draw the load, stress versus strain. So you can evaluate all kind of properties. But here you can see that your material gets destroyed. So without destroying these material, you can't get its ultimate strength. So that is the point here. Even you can see the compression also. You are applying the compression load on your specimen, and here you can see the material gets some cracks happens as well as otherwise the material gets fractured. So then only you are getting its compression strength, maximum ability you are getting. So how much load will withstand by the material? That is possible by only destroying that. So you can see the like hardness also. So in the hardness we have different kind of major three methods are available. So that is Rockwell hardness and Brinell and Vickers. So in here, in common point is that you have to make one indentation because the definition of this hardness is that to resist in the penetrations. So ability to resist the indentation or scratching or anything. So means here the common point is that you have to make one indentation. So that will cause the damage of your specimen. So without make any kind of indentation, you can't evaluate the hardness properties. Even that there is another kind of hardness test is also available, that is a nano indentation. Even that nano indentation also definitely have to make a nano size indentation. So like that, even Rockwell also we are using that some diamond cone indentation, make one indentation, and with the help of dial gauge you can directly evaluate the hardness properties in case of HRA, HRB, or HRC. So, and you can see that in case of Brinell hardness also, we are with the help of carbide ball indenter will make one indentation. Then you have to use some formula, force by surface area. You can measure the surface area with the help of optical microscope. Then you can evaluate it BHN number. So as well as you can see the Rockwell like Vickers also. In Vickers also we have like again there is a diamond cone indenter. Again you have to make one indentation. So you have to measure what is the diagonals D1 and D2. Then you have to average the value. Then simply substitute the values in that particular formula. Then you can get the HV values. So here in all hardness tests, the testing procedure is the same. You have to make one indentation and evaluate its properties. So then we will move on to another kind of destructive test. So that is the impact. So in impact, then definitely have to apply some impact loads. So here in impact loads, we have two different kind of methods are there, IJOD and Charpy. So here I would like to show the Charpy testing method. So we have a pendulum here. With the help of this mass, we are trying to create an impact load. So we have to check the potential energy, MGH. And after breaking of this particular specimen, again you have to measure the potential energy. Then you can simply calculate that how much of energy is absorbed by the body. So that will give the notch impact energy. So here you have to make specimens like this. Either it is a V-shaped notch or maybe U-shaped notch. So this is called as a damage on that. So even that after impact also entire material gets break. So like that you can evaluate its properties. So you can see there is a one diagram here. So I think everyone know about this particular diagram. So this is how the material transition like ductile to brittle transition with respect to the temperatures. So always the impact energies will not only the impact energy, a lot of mechanical properties are depends upon the temperatures. So here you can see here at the high temperature the material shows that ductile nature, then obviously it have a more not impact energy. Once the temperature comes down, so always the material transition happens from ductile to a brittle. So obviously what happens if you consider this particular temperature, so the same material will won't absorb more amount of energy. Within short low impact load, the material gets destroyed at low temperatures. So this all these kind of methods, in the methods, how to destroy the material, and then only evaluate the properties. So this is all about your destructive. So then we will move on to non-destructive techniques. So then why we are trying to go to this particular non-destructive technique? So you clearly understand that in case of destructive, you can evaluate the mechanical properties of any material, definitely have to destroy that. But in case of non-destructive, so whatever the defects or flaws will be there, so that you can easily identify without damaging your materials. That is the major intention of non-destructive testing. So we will try to discuss about now non-destructive testing. Okay, so before going to uh, non-destructive techniques, we will discuss some more points. That is, if any kind of defects or maybe flaws inside the material, what exactly happens? So obviously, if the material having these kind of flaws and defects, those will be hamper the performance as well as the reduce the life of the component, and may lead to failure the engineering components and systems. So that is the a major thing. So everyone know about this because of all these flaws and defects that will affect the material performance as well as the life of the component, of engineer component or the entire system. So that's why you need to detect all these defects as well as the flaws. So all whenever you need to need to detect them, to be able to take some corrective measurements, then only you can easily take the corrective measurements once you are trying to detect all these kind of defects inside the material as well as the surface level. Once component is made, it cannot be destroyed to detect the lying inside. So that is the very important thing here. And we'll talk about another point here. So NDT can do without destroying the component. That you please remember here whenever you're comparing with these destructive tests. Here we are not destroying your material in case of non-destructive testings. So here major thing is that one is that quality control, and second one is that maintenance and health monitoring. So because of these two kind of reasons, we are going to non-destructive testing. So you know that the quality control, whenever you're talking about quality control, so if I would like to manufacturing any kind of component, all right, whenever I would like to release the component into the market, then definitely I have to check its quality before enter into the market. So for that you have to go for non-destructive techniques. So any inside flaws are there or anything. And another thing is that even that how it is working under service, that is a very important. So that is also you can monitor your component, how it is working in services. So for these two purposes, we are going to non-destructive testings. So majorly the non-destructive testings are categorized into two things. One is that measure surface defects as well as the measure bulk. So you can, like throughout the thickness you can measure nothing, but you can measure subsurface defects also, not only surface is as well as the subsurface defects. Otherwise you can call it is uh, internal defects. So you can measure both, but you have to select suitable methodology or suitable process to measure internal defects as well as the surface defect. Why? Because some of the testing methods are available only for surface defects, and some of the methods, some versatile like techniques also available. They will identify surface defects as well as bulk material defects. So then we'll talk about the definition of this NDT. So this is a non-invasive technique to determine all integrity of the material component or structure, the quantitative measure some characteristics of an object. So what exactly the characteristics of an object? Nothing but you can measure it some internal defects. Sometimes you can measure its chemical compositions, and you can measure its conductiveness. So all these things you can measure, you can characterize. But the thing is that without doing any harm to your component. So you can see one of the example is that modeling of beam. So that's why we are going for ANSYS analysis. So in that analysis, you can simply identify its structural properties, what is its thermal properties, and all the things you are achieving. You can easily evaluate, but there is no damage of your specimen. So that is called as a non-destructive technique. So see, there is different kind of methods are available. So like visual inspection, acoustic, magnetic, like liquid penetration, so ultrasonics, there is ID current, there is a different kind of methods are available. So you please follow that one by one very clearly. So then today I would like to give a very basic principle about each and every experiment, every method. So in the upcoming sessions, we will talk about individual methods, what exactly the principles and all the things. So see some of the uses why you are going for NDE methods. So flaw detections and leak detections. You can measure its location determination as well as the dimensional measurements. And you know that you can measure its dynamic response measurements, mechanical and physical properties, and chemical composition determination. So there is a lot of advantages are there by this NDE method. You can use whenever you want to measure these kind of properties, evaluating the properties, you can go for NDE techniques. So then when are these NDE methods are using? So majorly you are trying to monitor or improve the and controlling your manufacturing processes, then you can go for this NDE method. Sometimes there is a screening for your materials, or maybe there is a short income materials, then only you can identify. And also you can go for that, improve your proper processing. In case of heat treatments, you can select the NDE methods, and also you can inspect your material in service damage. That is a very important. During the service also you can inspect your material. Because in lot of testing methods, one like in the ideal condition only they are trying to test the material, but with the help of these non-destructive testings, no need to go for that. Even service also you can simply evaluate its properties. Then that is one of the best example is that acoustic emission testing. In acoustic emission testing, no need to stop anything. So your process will be going on, that still you can identify its properties and all the things. So see what is the major applications, at which locations you can go for these non-destructive techniques. At different industries you can go for welding industries, castings, forging industries. Anywhere you can go for that, you can easily identify the NDE engineers and all the things. So see some application point of view. So you can go for engineering and manufacturing of pressure vessels, and also you can go for heat exchangers. You can see that heat exchanger with the help of boroscopes or some optical microscopes, you can measure what is the internal defects in the tube and all the things. And storage tanks, and oil and gas industries, chemical and water treatment plants, so food and dairy equipment, transport, power generation, even that aerospace and nuclear powers also you can measure the any defects in the turbine blades and all the things. For all these applications, you can go for these NDE methods. So there is a lot of scope in these non-destructive evaluation. So see non-destructive testing. One of the non-destructive testing is that ultrasonic testing. So here you can see the components. There are different components. There is a one screen will be there, and here it is specimen, and here we have a probe. So with the help of probe, you can simply measure any kind of defects. So see here. So ultrasonic test is majorly based on the propagation of ultrasonic waves in the objective or material testing. So here, with the help of this particular probe, we will send ultrasonic waves. Ultrasonic waves, nothing but the sound waves. We are sending some sound waves into your materials, then only you can easily get. So for example, major thing is that with the help of echoes. So if there is any defect inside, in between from the upper surface to lower surface, in between if you have any kind of a defect here, then you are getting one peak here. You are getting one peak. So like that you are simply identified your flaw. And also there is another advantage that you can easily identify the location of the defect also. So is it near to the surface or it is far away from the upper surface? Like that you can easily detect your defects. So here in case of ultrasonic test, we are using that very short ultrasonic pulse wave with like center frequency ranging around from 0.1 to 15 megahertz, and sometimes we are going up to 50 megahertz also. So all these ultrasonic waves are simply transmitted into the material to detect the internal flaws. So then we will move on to dye penetrating test. Dye penetrating test, or sometimes you are called it is a liquid penetrating test, or sometimes we call it is a liquid penetrant inspection like LPI, DPI. So all the things are regularly used in the term. So this kind of dye penetration inspection is widely applied for low cost inspection method, used to check surface breaking defects in all non-porous materials. And also you clearly understand that the LPE method is only useful for surface defects. You can't identify any kind of internal defects with the help of dye penetration test. So the basic principle of this particular dye penetration test is based upon the capillary action. So here you can see the red color. Red color is that penetrant. So penetrant is simply enter into that crack. So after that, once you apply your developer, again it is come back onto the surface, that you can easily identify with your naked eye. So that is possible. So in dye penetration test. So here the basic principle is that with the help of capillary action. So you can use that very low surface tension fluid can penetrate into the clean and dry surface breaking discontinuities. So which kind of liquid having very less surface tension, so then only they can easily enter into the crack. So that's why you have to select that kind of penetrance only. And also whatever the penetrant we are using, that we have to apply it on the test, and either there is a lot of methods will be there to apply the penetrants. Either you can go for a dipping method, or you can go for spray or brushing. With the help of any kind of method you can go for this liquid penetrations. And but after applying your like penetrant, you have to wait some time. So then that time is called as a dwell time. So then the penetrant is simply entering into your crack. So you can see that the red color is the penetrant. You are simply apply. If you wait some time, then you can enter into that. Then after that you have to remove that excess penetrant. Then apply developer. Developer is a white color. You can see that. Developer is a white color. So after applying the developer, so then penetrant comes out from the crack and you can easily visible on the surface. So that is the testing method. So then we are going for eddy current. Eddy current is one of the important you can identify the surface defects as well as the subsurface defects also with the help of eddy current. So here, how this particular name eddy comes. So majorly this eddy name comes from the flow pattern. So which you can see in the flowing of a stream of liquid or gas. Whenever it is encountered to any obstacle, you can see that there is a one stone and this is your flowing stream liquid. So whenever it is encountered into this particular stone, then you are getting eddies. So that's why it is called as eddy water. So you can see that image here clearly understand that there is like a swirling of water. So that's exactly called as eddy current, eddy water. The same thing is happens in that whenever you are giving alternative current to the conductor or a coil, you are getting the same effect. So that's why it is called as eddy current. But actual name it is induced current. Induced current as well as the eddy current is the both are same. So we will see the diagram clearly understand. So see here, this is your conductor or coil, but it is conductor. So this is alternative current. Once you are giving alternative current, am I right? So then, so alternative current passing through this particular conductor. So whenever you are bring your component near to this particular coil, then some loop type current induced in your surface of your substrate or component. So this particular current is called as eddy current, or we call it is induced current. Actually it is induced current, but it is looking like eddies. So that's what we'll call it is eddy current. Majorly it is the pattern. The current pattern is like a circle type. That's what we'll call it is eddy current. So here you know that you can see that in this particular diagram. So there is eddy current. So eddy current always it will flow up to certain depth, but always it will get weakened whenever the depth is increases. So you understand that whenever it is encountered this particular obstacle, then definitely there is a change in the voltage. Actually that is called as a impedance. There is a change in the impedance. So once if you are identified a change in the impedance, then you can clearly understand that yes, there is internal flaw is there. So like that you can simply detect whatever the internal defects, the materials. So this is about eddy current. So see, this is another kind of testing, that is radiographic testing. So I think everyone is experienced about this kind of X-rays in your life. So whenever you are going for any kind of hospital during the fracture, they are taking one X-ray. So if you see that X-ray, your bones are looking like always white color, as well as your remaining flesh is like a black color. So what exactly the regions? So that things you can easily understand the principle about this radiographic testing. You can see here the diagram very clearly. So this is the simply X-ray tube. Here we are trying to generate X radiation. So radiation we are generating with the help of X-rays. So here the radiation is used in radiographic testing. So definitely you require a high energy, and it is a low wavelength. So you know that as per Planck's law, E is equal to h nu by lambda. Whenever you are trying to decrease the wavelength, increasing the energy of the wave. Like so here always you are trying to, you require high energy. How to get higher energy? You are trying to reduce the wavelengths of the variation of electromagnetic waves. So here the radiation can come from the X-ray generator or radioactive source. So you can see that. So here there is a X-ray generator. From this X-ray generator, we are trying to generate X-rays. Those will passing through the material. So your material, this is your material or specimen. So this will be how to place it in between your X-ray as well as there is a film. So then you are getting a film. So here it depends upon the densities of your material, you are getting a film here. So like that you can simply evaluate the properties. Why? Because this particular part will stop some of the radiations. So because if it is a thicker and more dense, so obviously it will stop more radiations. So always the principle is that the densities. So when there is a flash will be there, obviously at that particular area you have less dense. So that principle will work on here. And uh, so we would like to go for a small question. So please try to answer that particular question whether you are understand or not. So please all of you see your chat box. So I would like to pose a question in your chat box. Please all of you answer that question. Did you get any question there? Hello.
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now you should please.
Yes, sir.
Is it in chat box? So please answer. So respond quickly.
Sir, can I pose a question, sir? Sir, can I pose a question?
What?
Sir, can I pose a question, sir?
So this is the question. So which of the following methods of inspection use high frequency of sound waves for the detection of the flaws in the casting? So that is the question I posted in the chat box. Please respond quickly.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt, sir.
What? So wait.
Difference between.
Yes.
Sir, difference between cracking and fracturing modes.
What?
What is the difference between cracking and fracture, sir?
So fracture, it is a damage, entire damage of your specimen. So crack, it is a very small opening.
In both of these tests, sir, we are using in destructive tests, we are using both now, sir.
You know, if it is a fracture, so you can easily identify it with your naked eye. No need to go for different kind of testing methods.
Okay, sir.
So if it is very like micro size or like in case of nano size cracks, all right, then definitely you can't identify it with our eye. Then only you can go for some magnifying lens, all the things. That's why we're going for boroscopes and all the things.
Okay, sir.
So then we will move on to some more explanation about this.
Yes, sir.
Introduction to NDT. So I would like to share my screen. Okay. So, and we have another kind of testing is that that is magnetic particle testing. So you can clearly understand this particular magnetic particle testing. We require one specimen. You have to magnetize your specimen. So either you can go for direct magnetization or maybe indirect magnetization. So whatever the image on the screen, so that is a direct magnetization. So you can simply correct. You have to send your alternative current. So you know that once you send an alternative current, then obviously you know that perpendicular to that particular specimen, you are getting a magnetic field. So that is kind of a direct magnetizations. So here what happens, if any kind of cracks, so see, but this particular diagram, so this is your flow lines, magnetic lines. If there is no crack or any kind of discontinuity over your surface, so your lines will be like this. But once you have any kind of discontinuity on your surface, then obviously the flow will be changes. How to identify this particular flow? So for that, what exactly we are doing, that on this particular surface, we are simply spray some iron particles, highly magnetized particles. So obviously what happens when there is a discontinuity in that particular area or location, there is a cluster happen on your particles that you can simply identify with your eye. So this is the one kind of technique we are using. So in the future classes, for the classes, we will discuss about all kind of how we are trying to going for magnetizing and all the things. Why? Because there is a lot of technical procedure will be there before going to the testing. So that's what we will discuss further. So then we will move on to another one, that is acoustic emission. So that is acoustic emission testing. So this is the one kind of very important in acoustic emission testing. So how you are defined is that there you are sending, there is a transient elastic waves generated by the rapid release of energy within the material. So you can see here, here there is a small crack or source or anything. Because of this only you are generating elastic waves. Some crack will be there. You please understand that. The source nothing but it will initiate the cracks. So if you are applying any kind of stress or pressure, force or anything, some some external force is acting on your specimen. So you please imagine one bridge. All right. So bridge nothing but always some force is acting on that point, because that's to consider self weight act on your bridge. So if any kind of some crack may be initiated at the top of the bridge, how you can see that there is a crack? Because of that crack may be growth, and finally entire the bridge may be collapsed. It is very difficult to identify because crack is somewhere, but you can't identify it where exactly. So that's why at that point kind of situations you have to go for these kind of acoustic emission testing methods. So see exactly what exactly you are doing that. So you understand this one. So there is a crack. Some for always some load will be acting on particular structure. So near to this particular cracks or somewhere you have to select some particular zones and you have to use some acoustic emission sensors. These are all AE sensors. So once the crack is opening, why? Because if continuously load is acting on the material, so if the material is won't withstand the load, then it is ready to crack will be continuously propagating that. So here it is a very important thing. Whenever the crack is growing or opening, that it will make some noise. Always a crack making some noise. That's why the people are talking like that. Always materials talk when they are in trouble. So with the acoustic emission equipment, you can simply listen these sounds of like crack growth or fiber breaking and other any kind of modes of active damage in the stress material. So you know that when the crack is opening, it will make some sound. So if you identify that kind of sound by these acoustic emission sensors, then you can easily say that yes, there is a crack. So then with the help of that amplitude of the sounds and all the things, you can easily identify the location from where exactly, from which sensor you are getting the sound. So then you can check that near to that particular sensor, you can easily identify that yes, there is a defect in that particular entire structure. So that is possible by this acoustic emission testing. This is a very useful non-destructive technique in measure bridges and all the things. So and now we are moving to last slide that is about your the career opportunities in non-destructive testing. So it is a very important thing. Why? Because this NDT is one of the exciting and growing and high technology career in the field of all filled with lot of opportunities. So there is a lot of demand, like if you are qualified in that non-destructive programs, if you get some certifications, then you are getting a lot of opportunities in India as well as entire the world. So here, what exactly you have to do that? So either you have to come after completion of your graduation. So there is a lot of institutes will be available in entire India as well as entire the world. So you can contact to that particular institutions, and you have to do some certification programs. Like see that there is a level 1 programs as well as level 2, level 3 certification programs. So there is a level 1 programs. You have to basics about what is the radiographic, ultrasonic, and different kind of NDT tests. And also there is like pre-priority programs, level 2 and level 3 programs, especially focused about either radiography or ultrasonic tests or liquid penetration. Means you are specialized in that particular testings. So if you do that particular programs and once you are certified, then a lot of companies will recruit you. Then there is notifications, they will release the notifications. Then you can simply attend the interviews and you will get a jobs. So that is the one kind of career opportunities available once you complete a NDT. So see, and also we have some customized programs, different kind of programs are available in NDT. So see, I have listed some institutions here, some in out of the Andhra Pradesh, and some of the institutions in Vizag also available. So BITS NDT is one of the good institutes in our Vizag. So and also you can see that we have conducted training program in our Visual College of Engineering. So here you can see that some of the images, and also you can go for some requirements. Some of the companies give the notifications. They are required like so majorly NDT techniques technicians. They required ultrasonic testers as well as the liquid penetration testing technicians, magnetic particles, as well as that they required level 2 also, RT radiography testing level 2, they want that. So if you complete your certification program in level 2, then you may get an opportunity. And if you complete your ultrasonic testing level 2, then you get the opportunity. So there is a lot of opportunities in around you, but you have to grab that opportunity once you clearly understand all the principles about NDT at your graduation level. Later you may certified in all programs, then opportunities are ready to you, then you can simply get it. So this is all about introduction to non-destructive testing. So I hope you understand something about non-destructive as well as destructive, why the people are going to non-destructive testings and all the things. And these are all major references to complete my presentations with the help of all these people. So thank you for your patience to listen about entire introduction to NDT techniques. So I will send one link to you in your chat box. So please complete that feedback. So it will take more than it will less than 2 or 3 minutes. So please try to complete that. I hope you understand that. Meanwhile, if you want to ask any kind of doubts, then you can open to you.
Sir, is there any method, non-destructive method to measure the conversion of the material, sir?
Your voice is not that hard.
Sir, is there any non-destructive method in order to measure the conversion of the material, sir?
Your voice is not clear. So please you can test it there. You can chat box. So is it visible?
So the link
in
is
chat
asking
box?
for Microsoft account, sir.
You don't have Microsoft account.
No, sir.
But how you joined in that?
No, it is given by the college only, sir. I have not created anyone.
So then your role number.